Pope Francis is currently on his visit to the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is his 40th apostolic journey and the 5th to the African continent. On Friday, he will be traveling to South Sudan. Today with me, we sit together with Mr. Justison Victor, the Executive Director of Yamara. Well, Yamara is a civil society organization in South Sudan that is well known for its advocacy and active engagement for peace and reconciliation in the country, as well as conflict prevention and sustainable development. It's good to have you here, Victor. So let's just begin with the question, how important is the Pope's visit to South Sudan? I mean, to the Catholic community and the Christian community in general in the country?
The visit of the Pope is so significant, especially to the Catholic community and the Christian community at large as in South Sudan. Remember, this is a visit that should have been last year. Now, the first thing I need to tell you is that we have been having 5 days walk of a pilgrimage of Rumbek Catholic Church to Juba. So they arrived in Juba Thursday morning. So that walk alone signifies, you know, the importance of the Pope's visit in South Sudan. We have been having talks about the St. Egidius peace talks. So they have been put on hold. The government of South Sudan has been saying the holdout groups have been buying time with the peace talks. So, and it is the St. Egidius that have been able to like mediate the peace talks between the holdout groups of the Pagana Moon, of the Thomas Cyrillos and the others with the government. So that has been resumed. But since the government announced that they are resuming the talks, we have not had tangible reports or anything to do up with these talks. So we see that at such a time, this is an opportunity that as the country is preparing to get into elections, recently the government has already requested the United Nations to support them in the electoral process. So it would be a great opportunity for the Pope to be able to bring these holdout groups together with the government in order for the country to realize lasting peace.
When you talk about the pilgrimage that's moving from Rumbek to Juba, it also gets me wondering what the mood is like in, not just in Juba, but across the country. And how then is the country preparing for this visit, and what is the mood like?
Yeah, thank you. This is something that is not, it's not believable for the South Sudanese. So when you look at Juba right now, the road leading to American residence, which used to be called American residence or something like American embassy, is now being turned into a new road. That is the Pope Francis road now. So when you look at the pictures, when you look at that road alone, you know, the road has changed the look of that very place. So as I talk right now, we have lights that have been put up already in Dr. John Garang Museum. That is where the Pope will be holding, the Pope will hold his prayers. That place has not been looking like that, close to the Legislative Assembly. So the place looks now unique with some street kind of lights, and the government has been putting in place up to 5,000 organized forces. These are forces that are meant to provide security in the city during the visit of the Pope. So these forces are from the police, these forces are from the army, different kind of a combination to be able to provide security on third as the Pope arrives in Juba. So there is kind of a different look now where the Pope will first have his prayers, which is at St. Teresa in Juba, the Catholic Church. So the church has got a new paint or kind of look as the Pope is arriving to Juba. People are singing, welcoming the Pope.
Well, I can imagine the level of excitement, and I can only try to think of how fresh and colored Juba looks and how excited people really are. Well, the Pope has also called this visit a pilgrimage of peace. And why is this message of peace and reconciliation so important to today's South Sudan?
South Sudan, right from the time it obtained its independence in 2011, the country has never had peace. And it is this very peace that, the country has been having peace talks all over. So we see that this must have been one of the to-do list for the Pope, for Pope Francis before he retires. That something that he would want to see, wanted to accomplish, he wanted to realize and see something out of it. Yes, we see this very important because currently the state of South Sudan, we have had religious leaders that have even been detained for making kind of statements that may not favor the government. For example, Prophet Abraham Chol, who is still under detention. So we see that by the coming of Pope, probably the president will change his mind to have people like Prophet Abraham Chol out of detention. But for so many times, the president of the Republic of South Sudan, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, have repeatedly said that he is not ready to take this country back to war. Yes. So is it really the peace that Pope has been seeing in reports, in pictures and videos? So there it comes, the visit of the Pope, so that he will have that opportunity to greet with the president of the Republic of South Sudan. He will also be meeting internally displaced persons being mentioned in this program. That could be probably one of the things that makes his visit to South Sudan to be a visit of pilgrimage.
Okay. Well, still on the issue of peace and reconciliation, what are the expectations of the population in this regard?
The expectation of the people of South Sudan is that by the visit of the Pope, this could be a very big, a huge opportunity for Pope to be able to reconcile the South Sudanese leaders, to bring them together, to be able to work for one South, to be able to work for one South Sudan, where people will now have guns silenced, killings reduced, and people live in total peace.
Mm-hmm. So now let's look at South Sudan's reconstituted Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission, which is responsible for monitoring and overseeing the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement. It has urged leaders to use the papal visit to, in quotes, renew confidence in the peace process, rebuild trust, and demonstrate genuine political will and unity of purpose with the spirit of forgiveness and magnanimity. Well, as someone who is leading an organization which is strongly contributing to the peace process, could you please share with us what is the current state of affairs?
The status of affairs in South Sudan is that a lot has been achieved with the revitalized peace agreement. A lot has been achieved, but the country is not ready, to the next step where the country is heading to, which is the 2024 elections. The country is not ready. We still have members of parliament who have been appointed. So these members of parliament, the people do not have the feeling that they are the people that they have chosen. They have chosen them. So South Sudan is waiting. The people of South Sudan, they're waiting for that kind of opportunity so that they can be able to choose and select the leaders that the member of parliaments and other leaders that they need. South Sudan is not at a total peace. That is the current status. That is why we still have a huge number of refugees in the neighboring countries, Uganda, Kenya, DRC, Sudan, and name them. So we have we have a lot that has already been done, but of course we cannot rule out the fact that we have a roadmap, which is a document that has been developed by the parties to the agreement. This roadmap has been developed, and in that roadmap, it contains the accomplishments that have already been made and what need to be accomplished. It helped these parties to be able to work together to complete the number of the items that are not being completed already. So that is the current state of the country, and we expect that there is uniqueness in this kind of a visit, because Pope Francis is not coming alone. Pope Francis is coming with the Archbishop of the Canterbury, who is Justin. Who will be coming with him to South Sudan. And we also have the moderator of the Church of the Presbyterian from Scotland. He will be with him in South Sudan. And we expect that in day one, they will be praying in different kind of churches. These leaders come with all kind of uniqueness together with Pope. We have kind of huge expectations from them.
Well, you mentioned that a lot of progress has been made since the signing of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, but you've also spoken about challenges and loopholes here and there in as far as the realization or concretization of some of these items or issues that were adopted in that agreement. But what should be the steps forward?
We are appealing to the civil society organizations and the organizations within the country that are working for peace, so that we can work together. We don't need to see things falling. So it is also our responsibility together to identify some of those pending activities that are not being completed, to identify them, and also help by giving way forward how those activities can be accomplished. Together, we continue to advocate to the government to prioritize on some of those key areas and give at least attention by allocating some budgets, and to see that this time we shall not be talking about another roadmap or revitalized agreement or another extension.